Hello, welcome to lesson 13 of our early Asian civilization, where we're continuing talking about ancient China. And today we're going to be talking about a man named Confucius. That's a funky sounding one, and you can see the name at the bottom there. Let's repeat that with me. Ready? Confucius. Before we talk about him, we are going to go through our vocabulary words. I will read them aloud, and you repeat after me. Praise, emerge, plunge, defense, resembles, custom, conquer, sorrow, durable. Which of these words means you're really sad about something? Maybe it's something you lost. Yeah, it'd be the word sorrow. Remember yesterday we learned about the Great Wall of China. Why was this wall built? And how was it built? Again, it was built over a long period of time. And remember, it was connecting a bunch of these smaller walls together. And it was kind of built under some extreme conditions, or it was hard to build. So after today's reading, you should be able to describe the importance of Confucius's teachings, also show an understanding of the word eager. So as we listen to Confucius, listen carefully to find out about another influential person and an important person from Asia. Long ago, in the Chinese kingdom of Lu, a baby was born. Known as Confucius, he was born at a time when all of China was experiencing great trouble. China, an enormous country, was divided into small areas ruled by many different leaders. No two leaders agreed with one another. Instead of listening to each other, they formed large armies and fought long, tiresome wars against one another. Robbers rode through the countryside, hurting the other people, and greedy leaders wanted to conquer all of China for their own selfish reasons. They did not care about the ordinary people, who never had enough to eat and live their lives in fear for their own safety. Confucius was born into a poor family more than 2,000 years ago. His father died when he was very young, but his mother believed that education was very important and made sure he was able to learn from many wise teachers in his village. Confucius also taught himself many subjects. He was happiest when studying history, learning about the new ways in which people lived long before he was born. He learned that China had not always been so divided. It had once been a peaceful, united country ruled by wise sages who wanted to help their people. Sages are people who are known for their wisdom and knowledge. Confucius began to dream of a time in the future when people could live in a peaceful land led by wise rulers and their sages once again. He wanted to spread the word that it was possible to live without wars and confusion. He wanted to give people hope for a better tomorrow. Confucius decided to spend his life educating others and teaching them how to live life in a more peaceful way. He began by trying to convince Chinese leaders of his ideas, but they were not interested. Although the Chinese leaders refused to listen to him, other people were eager to hear what he had to say. To be eager means to have a great interest or a desire in something. As he taught his students how to build a peaceful country, Confucius would often begin his lessons by asking them to start with their own families. "Do you fight amongst yourselves?" he asked. "Do you argue with your parents or steal from your brother and sisters?" Confucius reasoned that if people could not get along in a small group, how could they expect their leaders to control the behavior of the whole cities and towns? Respect your parents, Confucius taught. Obey them and take care of them as they take care of you. If you practice kindness in your families, then you shall also practice kindness in your communities, and kindness will spread to all people in all parts of the land. So, why did Confucius begin his quest for change with families? Confucius's students would often ask him, "How should we treat one another?" His answer, always always the same, sounded simple. "Never do to others what you would not like them to do to you," he replied. Do you recognize these words? Have you ever heard them before? These words have the same meaning as the saying, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." Many groups of people have similar sayings with the same meaning. This particular saying is often called the Golden Rule because it is believed to be a very important rule for people to live their lives. Confucius believed in the Golden Rule and felt that if people always treated one another with kindness, the world would be a better place. Confucius also believed that if leaders were able to stop all the wars, feed the hungry, and make sure that people were safe in their cities and towns, everyone would live in a happier world. These are just a few of the ideas Confucius shared with others. Confucius also believed that education was very important and tried to share the belief with many people. Confucius thought that it was necessary to continually study and learn in order to become a sage or a wise person. In ancient China, as in many countries long ago, only people with money were allowed to go to school. Confucius thought that this was wrong. He believed that all people, rich and poor, should have equal opportunity to learn. Can you think of other people you may have studied who felt that education was important for everyone? Learning never stops, according to the teachings of Confucius. A wise person learns from others in and out of school. Confucius meant that although you might learn important information about history and literature in school, you could also learn a great deal about how to behave towards one another, both inside and outside of school. Have you ever heard of learning by an example? If your teacher shouted all day long, then his or her example might make you think that this was the right way to behave. So you might begin to shout all day long too. But if your teacher spoke politely, then you might be more apt to speak politely too. You learn how to speak by example. Confucius had devoted students. After he died, some students thought his ideas were so important that they wrote them down in a book called the Analects. This is a picture of a page from the Analects. This book formed the basis of Confucianism, a way of thinking that is practiced widely around the world today, particularly in China, South Korea, Vietnam, and Japan. So Confucianism is not a religion, but it's a way of thinking. Schools were even created to teach the sayings of Confucius, found in the Analects. If you ever heard someone quote Confucius, perk up your ears and listen closely. You'll probably hear something very wise indeed. All right, let's go through our comprehension questions. How did Confucius want to change China to become a better place? What kind of place was China when Confucius was a child? Why was education so important to Confucius? That is, why did he decide to spend his life teaching others? What are some things that you have learned by example? Our word for today is the word eager. Repeat that word with me, eager. What does the vowel sound EA make in this word? Yeah, EA makes the E sound. What sound does make at the end of this word? What other ways can you spell that sound? What do you think this word means? So eager means to have great interest in something or to really want to do something. I love this picture of these two dogs because any dog, when you have food in front of them, they are eager to do whatever you tell them to do so they can get that treat or that food. And I can definitely tell those dogs look eager to have some food. Stacy was eager to open her presents during her birthday party. Has there ever been a time when you were eager to do something? I hope you enjoyed this lesson on Confucius. We have one more read aloud left for our early Asian civilizations. And this is another fun holiday that maybe some of you have heard about, but it's definitely an interesting one.